Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Hedging Podcast. I am your host, Ty the Jet. I got my guy right here.
Rip 16, the GOAT.
Yes, sir. And we're back with another episode of Takeaways, Week 9 Takeaways. We're about to talk about what happened this past week in the NFL. Crazy games this weekend.
It was crazy games. It was a lot of good games. There wasn't so many psychotic games as there's been.
This was like playoff preview week.
Okay.
Preview week.
I like that. I like that.
Had a couple really, really good matchups. That some were really close games and some were not so close games.
Yeah.
But I think the NFL set us up this week. Had some good games to watch.
I
But
thoroughly enjoyed watching football this past Sunday and Monday, so it's cool. Thursday was solid too.
yeah, I don't know. Some of those primetime games were a little sus. kind of snooze fest.
Yeah. A little
By
bit.
third quarter, I was trying to,
Start scratching.
But let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do that, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You guys know that helps with the algorithm. That helps with us promoting and pushing more content out for you. So make sure you do that.
For sure.
But yeah, first one, let's talk about Kansas City, Miami.
Okay.
The first Germany game this year. Early game.
Frankfurt.
Sunday morning, early game. For me, the Dolphins just proved to be who I thought they were. You know,
who do you think they are?
I think they are a team that can dominate teams that aren't of their caliber. But when it comes to teams that are respected in the league, teams that have good defenses, they seem to fold under pressure, as we saw 3 times this year.
I mean, I think the Chiefs' defense has played extremely well over the past couple weeks.
All season.
They've been able to. I'm not going to give them all season.
Absolutely. That defense been carrying that team.
The defense has been carrying the team for sure, but the Chiefs lost some games too where but what I'm getting at is the Chiefs defense has played exceptional. So during that game, they were able to show that, and they were able to contain Tyreek Hill from going crazy and having a touchdown. Tyreek Hill didn't have a touchdown this week.
He didn't have 100 yards either.
He didn't have 100 yards either. And they also maybe had a little bit more fuel to the fire when he kind of made some comments about them and talking about what he wanted to do and how
they were going to win regardless.
But it was only a 7-point game. It's one touchdown, so if somebody blows a coverage or something, this game is easily going into overtime. So I think the Dolphins, I'm not just going to say they're just bad. They just played against an extremely good Chiefs defense, and the Chiefs handled business.
Yeah, they did. And like I said, the Chiefs they haven't found the offensive rhythm yet. It's very inconsistent offensively.
It's hard.
I mean, 7 out of the 21 points was scored off of the defense, was a defensive touchdown.
Right.
So, we have to give a lot of credit to the Chiefs defense. If this
that's why I was saying.
If this offense can come and match what the defense can do, then it
was a defensive touchdown, and that was the difference in the game. So, I mean, like I said, the defense was exceptional. I mean, I can't fault Miami too much for that.
I mean, and then on the other side of it, I mean, the Chiefs, they scored 21 points in the first half. They didn't do anything in the second half.
Miami's defense is playing better. Let's also give them some credit, since they got Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey on the field at the same time. They played better. They only gave up 14 points to the offense. Yeah,
they did what they had to do in kind of bracket Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce didn't go off.
He didn't go off either.
I mean, it's just a combination of, the Chiefs not having, like we talk about this every week, is they don't have a good wide receiver that they can rely on. So that's what their hole is. But some guys made plays,
but he didn't have a whole bunch of yards.
Scott Moore made plays. They started running the football a little bit more with Pacheco. So those are some of the things that they really need to lean on to help this offense. But outside of that, like I said, I think the Dolphins are frauds when it comes to playing legitimate teams. As we see, they played Buffalo, got beat. They played Philly, got beat. They played the Chiefs, got
Fraud
beat.
is such a strong word.
You know, they're fraudulent against legitimate teams, and that's the narrative, and that's what is being shown. You know, this high-powered offense only scored 14 points.
Okay. Since we talking about defenses, I do think one of my takeaways from this past, week was that it was some defenses that definitely showed up and stepped up, even in some of the games where they lost. One of the teams being Dallas. Mm-hmm. Dallas did not come out with the W in that game, but they did manage to slow down A.J. Brown, which nobody has done in about a month and a half. You had the Chargers come out and 6 sacks. They had, or 6+ sacks. I forgot how many they had. I lost count at 6. But they had 3 defensive linemen with 2 sacks.
Yeah, the Giants did that last week too. The
Jets offensive line is bad, but the Chargers have also had back-to-back weeks where they played
trash teams.
They played trash teams, but they did what you're supposed to do with a trash team.
Yeah.
So I can't give them credit for that. And Staley did not fuck it up. He did what you were supposed to do. They were up in the second half. They were up significantly. He didn't give a damn. He said, run the ball. We're going to run this ball 3 straight times. I don't care if we do 3 and out. If we take off 3 minutes off the clock, I'm happy with that. That was a smart move.
Yep.
And I'm glad that Staley did not come in, which was the only thing that I feared in that game, because I was like, yeah, on paper, the Chargers should beat the Jets. But I'm scared that he's going to come in and do something weird. But he didn't. So I'm proud of you, Staley. Good job.
Yeah, the Chargers kind of did what the Chargers do, right? They get off early, and then they kind of run out of gas and kind of put the thing in neutral for a little bit. They had a lot of 3 and outs from the second and third quarter. You know what I mean? They scored 14 in the first.
Right.
So, I don't believe they scored another touchdown or point until, third quarter in the third?
No, field goal.
So it's like that offense kind of stalled out here and there.
They kind of stalled out, but they started burning
credit
the clock
to the Jets defense, though. You know what I mean? The Jets defense, they put a lot of pressure on Herbert. You know what I mean? Herbert didn't even have a great day.
No, he didn't.
He threw for less than 200 yards.
Most of his passes were short passes. And he's been doing that since kind of like the finger injury.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is the main thing, the finger injury, which is why they're not letting him, loose a little bit on some of those passes. But
Josh Palmer was injured.
Palmer is out.
He was out. Yep.
And
then they have Eckler back too. So so that's part of the formula for the Chargers' success, right?
Shout out to Keenan Allen. 10,000 yards is phenomenal. 10,000 yards receiving. He got that in that game on Monday Night Football. So shout out to the Chargers. Not a Dallas fan at all, but I will give them credit where it's due. They played some pretty good defense against a tough Eagles team and managed to contain A.J. Brown. They did not come down with the win, but they were definitely on the Eagles' ass.
Yeah, Dak, Dak played phenomenal. This is probably one of the best games I've seen Dak Prescott play. No turnovers. Given the little mistakes that he made, the little minute mistakes that he made to potentially win the game.
But he's playing against a very good defense.
Yeah,
so
he played well.
I don't have a complaint about that.
They still don't have a running game, which is still going to be a cause for concern. But him throwing the ball was pretty good. But me personally, I'm not a fan of seeing Dak throw the ball 40 times.
No.
Something's
bound to happen.
Yeah, I told my guys, I said, man, if he throws for 40, they're going to get an L. And he threw the rock 40 times, even though it was good. But
it was this close to scoring on that last drive. So.
Yeah. Due to, some penalties by the Eagles, they pretty much was giving them, hey, do something with it. But, he did miss some throws too, right? He missed some open guys on 4th and 8. He missed, missed the touchdown on the inside in the red zone when he threw it to the tight end. Could have threw it to Brandon Cooks on the slant on the other side. He was wide open. So there are some opportunities he did miss to actually get them to win the game. But outside of that, he played well. Philly, they were in the dogfight. They knew that's what they were going to get. But ultimately, they did what they had to do to get the W, as they've been doing all season, finding a way to win.
Right. Another 2 dogfights really 3 on takeaways that I saw. You had the Commanders versus the Patriots, the Falcons versus the Vikings, and the Buccaneers versus the Texans. Kind of lumping those three together. CJ Stroud,
Offensive Rookie of the Year,
had a day. I mean, you talking a little less than 500 yards,
470 and 5 tutties.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So even if you're a seasoned vet, that is a ridiculous game. So, doing that as a rookie, that was phenomenal. But credit to the Buccaneers, they only lost that game by 2 points. So Baker Mayfield, showed up and, it got outshined by the guy throwing 470. But Baker Mayfield did not play bad.
No, he put him in position to win. Yeah, the defense just gave up the touchdown at the end.
He put
last
him in
man with the ball won.
Exactly. And 39-37 shows that the Commanders, traded away two of their best defensive players. And, we would think that will open up things a little bit more. But the Patriots, still dumpster fire, do not have enough firepower over there.
Roll Jones. Throws a pick on the last drive, on the drive to win the game, throws a pick. Granted, it wasn't his fault because it hit Juju Smith-Schuster right in the hands, bounced off his hands, interception on the 30-yard line, something like that. So I don't blame Mac Jones, but the Patriots should have definitely won this game. They are one of the worst teams in the league.
But is the Commanders' offense better than they're getting credit for?
They throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
They're good. Sam Howell, they're good at airing that thing out. Yeah, they let him rip. So with them, it's either he's gonna play great or he's not.
Okay.
So I mean, but then they played a sorry team too, right? When you play a bad team, it's just what it is. Bad teams are gonna find ways to lose, and that's just.
But that was a road game too, so I'm giving them a little bit of credit. A big change on defense, and it's a road game. And they still pulled it off. So that's something to take away with the Falcons. Oh my God.
Dirty birds.
Dirty. Got done dirty. It's a myriad of issues with that game. First of all.
Go ahead. Spew it.
First of all, I wanted to start Joshua Dobbs on fantasy. However, they said Joshua Dobbs ain't playing this game. He just got in town. We're going to let the rookie get a shot.
Right.
And they put him in the second drive that this rookie is in. He gets knocked the fuck out. Concussed, locked up. And next thing you know, Joshua Dobbs comes in. Now, when he first came in the first half, he was getting beat up a little bit too.
Yeah, he had
that
to catch a
defense
rhythm.
was on him.
Yeah.
They caused a fumble. The Falcons defense was working. They was moving. However, in the second half,
got sacked, safety, all that.
Yeah, they got a safety on him and everything. In the second half, he got his bearings. He started running around and started doing Joshua Dobbs things.
Yeah,
scrambling, extending plays, running for yards, getting first downs. Putting his body on the line, scoring. Whether it be passing or rushing it in himself. Joshua Dobbs carried them in the second half of that game and put them in a position where they ended up winning, and the defense stepped up later in the game.
So I got a question. Inquiring minds would like to know, who is to blame for that Falcons loss? What is to blame? Who is to blame?
Well, Heineke threw a pick in the second half. That was one turnover issue. But then the Falcons defense was not able to contain Joshua Dobbs on the rushing. So, I think the offense produced enough points. If you tell me my offense going to give me 28 points this game,
thank you.
They produced some points.
28,
but the defense,
thank you.
The defense did not contain Joshua Dobbs in the second half. They let him loose.
Thank you.
And
somebody with some sense, Falcon fan with some sense here, everybody. I talked to some Falcons fans and they blaming Arthur Smith.
That wasn't coach. It wasn't the coach. Joshua Dobbs is out here running around doing whatever the fuck
and you saying the same thing I'm saying. Your defense gave up the most points it's given up all season.
Right.
Your defense gave up a game-winning drive.
Right.
to a quarterback that just signed on Tuesday,
Right.
barely knows the
He's
playbook.
not even there a week.
Your offense scored the most points it scored all season.
Right.
Well, the defense gave it 31, but your offense scored 28 points, at the most it's scored all season. How can you blame somebody else other than the defense?
Yeah, it's the defense. I mean, you can't give up that many points in the second half. I mean, it was typical Falcon-like behavior. You play well in the first half, and then you give up too much in the second half. I don't know if the defense got too hyped off of how well they were playing in the first half and just kind of got to start smelling themselves or something. I don't know, but you can't do that in the second half. Like, you just cannot give up that many points. And
for the record,
yards.
it was the defense's fault. For the record. Moving along. Let's talk about Sunday night football. What was it, Sunday night?
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Bengals,
Joe Burrow,
Bills.
Joe Cool. They're legit. They're back. He's back. He's healthy. Like, we've been saying this for about 2 weeks.
We was talking about it last week. We was like, are they back?
He's back.
He's back.
The Bills still have their issues. They can't score points. They start slow, per usual. Why that is, no idea.
I think they just got figured out. Like, I think people just kind of figured out how they play, and they figured out how to play it because they've been playing the same style about 3-4 years now. So I think people just kind of figured out the formula on, like, how do we contain Josh Allen and stop him from running all the time? Or how do we bracket Diggs and slow him down? And, you know, I think it's just working in terms of the defensive schemes that they're playing against. But also, not having Milano out there has shifted their defensive trajectory down
that was a
tremendously.
Big loss. Him and Tre'Davious White, big loss.
So I think the combination of those things.
And has anybody seen Von Miller?
Not really. I see him in the commercial every week. It's hilarious.
Anybody seen Von Miller? I mean,
I see him in the gold suit commercial. It's hilarious. But other than that, I ain't seen him.
Listen, Buffalo, they got some things they need to figure out. I think they need to run the ball a little bit more. Not with Josh Allen. Maybe with Josh Allen, hell, because that's what they were doing when he was winning. He was running the ball, risking his body, putting his body on the line, jumping over people, diving over people.
Yeah.
And
Danny
doing
Glover,
that.
he got too old for this.
So I think they probably just need to let Josh play football. He's going to make mistakes and live with that.
Yeah. But you get to the playoffs.
Right, but you get to the playoffs. But, I mean, Cincinnati.
Right now, they're not in playoff position.
Cincinnati, like I said, Joe Burrow, he's healthy. Joe Mixon, they're running the football. They getting T. Higgins involved. He's healthy as well. Chase, we all know what Chase is going to do. Offensively, the Bengals are back to doing what they do, back to doing what got them to the Super Bowl. And that's what we like to see. And then defensively, they're playing lights out. I mean, they have pass rushers on their front four that are legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Hubbard and 91 and the other guy, I can't remember his name right now, but these dudes are rushing the passer, they're causing havoc, getting pressure, and they're doing what they're supposed to do every single week. So Bengals are back. They're legit. And the AFC need to watch out because the Bengals, they have taken down the Chiefs before, right? And the Chiefs are supposedly the best team in the league on the AFC.
Watch your back.
So the Bengals have done that multiple times.
Yeah.
Speaking of the AFC,
he was planting on that calf too.
Yeah.
I seen that. He looked comfortable.
And the last thing, AFC, the Ravens, man. Ravens been dominating. Dominating.
Their run game is crazy.
Beat the brakes off of Seattle. Seattle had no shot. Geno Smith is not the answer. Last year was of course, an outlier of a season for him.
Are you trying to throw in the towel on Geno already?
Bro, I've been throwing the damn towel. I've been throwing the towel on Geno. I don't like Geno Smith as their quarterback. I don't think he's the answer.
But you was like, Seattle's the money team.
That doesn't mean I like the players or like the quarterback.
Quarterback is a very important spot.
Right, it is. That is why they lost. They couldn't generate any points. You know what I mean? But
I think it was some defense too, though.
It was defense because the Ravens they ran all over him.
Mitchell had 9 carries and 130.
Yeah, they ran all over him. They ran all over him.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they ran all over.
That's defense too.
That is defense. But I mean, if you are a decent quarterback and you got these weapons, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got Tyler Lockett. You got DK Metcalf.
Don't give me DK Metcalf.
You
Take
got
him
these
off.
guys, bro.
DK Metcalf has not went over 70 yards receiving
And whose fault is that?
in like 5-6 games.
Whose fault is that?
Some of those he just didn't catch.
I mean, part of that is the quarterback. Because we know if DK goes off, Seattle has a better chance of winning the game.
Yeah, for sure. But
So
he ain't went off
I'm
yet.
blaming Geno Smith. Geno Smith played awful. But that could be credit to Baltimore's defense. Baltimore is a good defense, top defense in the league. And they just prove week in and week out that they are dominant.
I think the Baltimore Ravens used the basketball from Space Jam to take the San Francisco 49ers complete team powers. It seems like they absorbed it over the past few weeks, top to bottom. They have played some of the most complete football, and they came out and they dominated against teams that have been playing well, such as Seattle and Detroit. They came out and they just played really good. Now, 3 points is ridiculous, but they did put up 37, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to the offense and the defense for locking up on some guys. DK might have had 150-yard reception, and that's the only big reception I remember out of Seattle in that game, and they still didn't get a tutty out of that.
Nope.
So I'm going to give the Ravens their credit on that one. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to Geno Smith quite yet.
I am.
But
I've seen enough.
But I think that bend don't break defense style is starting to break against very strong teams when it comes to Seattle. So they're going to have to do something, especially when they're playing against tough opponents, and it's only getting tougher because we winding down with the regular season. So
Yeah.
halfway through.
Ravens in that division, look out. Some good matchups coming up with these guys. Obviously, they play the Bengals. They play the Steelers. And they play the Browns. So, those are all
three
good
games where
matchups.
somebody might get stabbed.
Right now, all three of those teams are, if the playoffs started today, all three of those teams are in the playoffs right now.
You said the Browns were done.
Yeah, I did. They still.
And they shut out.
I said as of today. As of today.
Shut out the Cardinals.
As of today. We still got some more season to play.
They do, but they shut out the Cardinals.
That's the Cardinals we're talking about with a backup quarterback that played his first NFL game against the Browns. That was not going to be good for him anyways.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just
They should have shut them out.
and they did.
Yeah, so, we're not going to be talking about them shutting out a trash team, one of the worst teams in the league. They got one win.
I feel it.
Yeah, let's talk about them shutting out the Ravens. Let's talk about them shutting out the Steelers. Let's talk about them shutting out the Bengals. Then we can have a conversation.
Okay. Hey,
But
look,
until then,
y'all stay tuned.
y'all stay tuned, man.
Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. We have to give y'all our takeaways so that we can get fully prepared and engaged and walk into the rundown with all of the great knowledge that we need to know to get these picks that you all want to make some monies. So y'all stay tuned.
Up next, Week 10. Halfway through the week. Week 10 rundown. Best bets and dog of the week, man. Stay tuned. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace.